A very good morning and welcome back to another daily market outlook. So your dollar is moving a little bit higher as of yesterday, however still very consolidative here inside of this box. So overall the market is ranging and waiting for NFP news to come in on Friday, so the non-farm payroll, and therefore we are not really seeing any major moves until that most likely news event will happen. So therefore slow markets until Friday on all dollar pairs, and hence why we are now consolidating. So we're just purely waiting for that news on Friday to come through, and then we will see that breakout from where we will move in towards a new region of price, which will then provide us with a trading opportunity. Because at the moment, same situation as yesterday, we have the low over here, we have our high over here, we're trading bullish, hence why we have been moving slightly higher as of yesterday, but still no real commitment to any move at all. So for now, what I'm still waiting for is either a dump down in towards the zone and then a potential long, or a dump down even lower and a long from there. If we move up higher, then I will be looking for shorts from this fresh area of supply. Still waiting for pretty much this area of resistance to go. I mean, if we can now break this high, for example, today, then maybe tomorrow we will get a pullback in towards that sell for the buy, which broke this high over here and pretty much broke out of this overall range. So from there, we can then potentially look for a long. For the rest, not much going on overall. If we go in towards the 15-minute, you can see pretty much this area of demand was what pushed price further in towards the upside, but nothing very clear or fitting my personal entry criteria. Now moving on in towards the dollar index itself, the dollar index has indeed moved down slightly lower as expected. As we can see, we're now grabbing the liquidity below these lows, as we did to the highs as well, after which we dumped. So now what could happen is, obviously, once we grab the liquidity below those lows, is that we see a reversal back in towards the highs. However, for now, we are seeing that the overall order flow is bearish. This is your buy before your sell zone, which is also known as your area of demand. It's kind of like an area of consolidation, big move down, market comes back in and then moves back out again. So for the rest of the day, I would preferably want to see further downside continuation from the dollar index. So keeping my eyes out for that further downside potentially. I mean, for now, it is looking what is most viable for the dollar, as long as this area of supply for now holds. There's no demand holding it back until we reach this lowest zone over here. Now, moving on in towards the Australian dollar against the US dollar, what we can see over here is very similar to euro dollar. Very consolidative, stuck inside of this box over here, not moving really anywhere. So again, use the overall principle of it, simply buying the lows and selling the highs. Overall, for myself, not a very interesting pair at all to trade at this point in time. Just going to leave it for what it is. Potentially we could see some further upside, also some further downside. It's not really my cup of tea. We still have a fresh area of supply over here inside of this doji. So if we do move in towards there, potential shorts in play, but for the rest, again, just let it rip. Let's wait for highs to get broken or for lows to get broken. A more interesting pair was pound dollar yesterday. Pound dollar provided us with a potential entry. If we look at what we saw yesterday and what I mentioned inside of this outlook, was that I was looking for potential long from that area of demand in towards this fresh area of supply. Now, that area of demand on the 4-hour did in fact hold. So going in towards the 15-minute, then what you can then see is that we came in towards that area of demand and we had our refined area over here. Pretty much. So you can see we kind of spiked through it, but ended up moving in towards the highs with quite that bullish reaction. So just to provide you guys with clarity on how you could have potentially entered, over here we had a fractal low. The low got broken. And then what happened is that we got a new fractal low, which was formed over here on this high. So this is your fractal high. The high gets broken. So what happens? We create demand over here. What we can see is that price then pretty much skyrocketed in towards the highs whilst respecting those lows. So created a new high over here and all the way up in towards this high. So it is looking like price wants to continue up higher as long as the overall demand flow is respected. As we can see this morning, we got a trend shift. So now let's see if we can continue up higher in towards that extreme 4-hour area of supply over here, from where I will be looking for a potential short in towards the downside due to the fact that the overall 4 hour is still bearish from that high in towards this low. So for now, looking for an overall correction here on pound dollar in towards the downside, potentially from this area of supply, or if we move up higher, this area of supply over here, due to the fact that there's still a lot of liquidity open above these highs. So that's pound dollar for you. Moving in towards NZDUSD. So NZDUSD is consolidating, moving sideways and not really going anywhere. As we can see, just stuck inside of this descending price action, was looking for this zone over here to get reached. However, price failed to continue moving in towards the downside. So for now, leaving it for what it is, nothing really interesting here, just waiting for news to also drop on NZDUSD. Only pound dollar is looking very interesting. So that's that on NZDUSD. Let's say we do move in towards that zone number 1, then we can look for a potential trade. Moving on in towards the last pair, which is gold. So gold, what has gold been doing? It has been moving up higher once again, obviously. So looking for slowdown or a sign of slowdown. So what I'll be doing is I'll just be waiting for that all-time high to get hit, and then we'll look for kind of like a liquidity play. A lot of stop losses obviously are going to be placed above that high. Also, a lot of people are going to be shorting that high or going to be trading the breakout and continuation. So let's see a lot of liquidity, and I expect a lot of fluctuations to happen once we reach that all-time high. So what I'll be doing for now is I'll just be focusing on the overall trend, and the overall trend is still in towards the highs. We're still making new higher highs and higher lows. This is pretty much your protected low for now, and we're trading inside this range. So let's say we lose this low over here, then the range becomes bearish once again, and we'll be looking for a downside continuation play. So a lot of liquidity being built up again beneath these lows. So let's see if we can get a short anytime soon, preferably a short after we break that all-time high on gold. So yeah, that holds my preference. So thank you very much for tuning in today, and wish you all a fantastic day. Thanks, guys.